Hey everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here. In this video, I took 300 people on Facebook and asked them what photo do they like the best out of a model taken by many different focal lengths from 19 millimeters all the way up to 350 millimeters. So which one do you think a non-photographer likes the most? Stay tuned. So we lowered the light just to see if we can get the shadows off. Now with the flash off is what you see is what you get. When you turn the flash on, I'm getting ready for tonight's live show with David Osler called Behind the Photo, so check that out. And while I'm setting that up, I wanted to talk about focal length and portraiture. Now, everybody, or if you've been around a while in photography, you're going to know that 85 millimeters is that typical portrait mode focal length that people use, and then maybe the 100, 105, and 135, and some people use a 200 millimeter. And so I always knew that, but I never really tested it out thoroughly myself. Like, let me see with my camera and my lenses, let me just see what would happen. So me and my wife went down to Old San Juan, and it was raining and cloudy, and I wasn't going to do flash. I was going to do natural light and all that. So we didn't get too far with it, but I did happen to take two photos. One with my Sony 8. This is all done on the Sony A7 III, by the way, full frame. And one photo I took with the 85 millimeter f1.8. That's a Sony lens. And the Sony Zeiss 55 millimeter f1.8. And I made sure I tried to keep it, you know, like a portrait, like waist high on both of these photos. And something kind of surprised me because that's pretty much all we got done. But that night when I got home, I wanted to ask my wife without telling her what I was doing and all that. I showed her the two photos, and I said, which one do you like best? And naturally, I thought she was going to, you know, say let me show you guys. Naturally, I thought she was going to say, you know, the one on the left because that's the 85 millimeter, and the one on the right is the 55 millimeter, because we always hear that people like that 85 millimeters and above for portraits, but she liked the one on the right. And it's very interesting because I was just kind of shocked, actually. And I asked her, well, why do you like this one on the right better? And she said, oh, that one I look thinner. And when you look at it, it's true. She does look a little more petite here. Arms look a little thinner. Face looks kind of thinner. And that's basically, you know, what we're getting with a wide angle lens, that anything close like her nose is going to be bigger, and as things go away from the lens it's going to get smaller. So her ears are smaller here, but her nose is bigger, her eyes are bigger, her lips are bigger, so forth like that. Her arms are kind of back. And when I was first looking at that, I was like, that's really kind of strange, because I thought she would like the 85. But then, so I posted this photo on social media, and I wanted to ask people which one they liked most. Let me show you guys that. So I just kind of cropped it in and put it up there. You know, which one do you like best? And it was a mixed bag. A lot of people said maybe more people like the 85 over the 55. But what I got from this test was, if you give photographers that one was 85 and that was 55, it's going to be a flawed test, because automatically, if photographers are out there and they love shooting 55, 85 or 55, they're going to pick the lens that they have, the lens that they paid money for, the lens that they heard is supposed to be better, or whatever. You're going to get some true photographers with the truth about it, but then you're going to get just kind of a mixed match of people like, ooh, I got a 55, I like that one better, without really looking at the photo and knowing. But one thing I did take from it is people said, well, your wife probably liked the 55. Let me go back while I'm talking. Your wife probably, oops, not that one. Your wife probably liked the 55 better just because the pose is different, the angle of light's different, the background was lit up a little more, her expression's different. So I got all that type of those things, and it could be true. So right away I said, okay, first of all, I didn't do an absolute test because, like they said, all these different variations, so that kind of messed up the test. And then putting it on social media with 85 here and 55 there kind of messed it up too, because people are going to choose the lens they like best. So I thought, let me really figure this out for myself. And what I did first was I took 3 photos of my wife and 2 of her employees, and I took one with the 85 millimeter, one with the 55 millimeter, and then one with the 55 millimeter in crop mode. And I made sure to get everything back, and you could see these, where's that? See right here, well, I keep putting that same one on. Those ones right there, you can see how I did that. And I told them each individually, without them knowing what I was doing and without the other ones around, I said, which one of these photos do you like of yourself better? And they all independently chose the 85 millimeter focal length. And when I asked why, I don't think they really knew. They just knew they looked better. And when I look at it, they do all look thinner in these particular shots, opposed to doing my wife because her angle was off. These ones were absolutely the same. I just said smile and don't move while I changed out lenses and used crop mode. So these 3 people all chose, looking at themselves, the 85. So I said, okay, that's interesting. That's kind of going where, we thought it would go. So then I said, let me take this a step further. And I found this photo on social media or on the internet. And I wish I knew the photographer who, did this. I would give them credit. But what I did was he had it in order from widest lens to more zoomed in lens, but I changed the order and I darkened out the millimeters and I put numbers on all the photos. So this way I can show people and they won't have that predetermined idea like, ooh, I like 135, where's that lens? I like that one, even though they might not really like that one. But this time I chose to put it on my Facebook, and 300 people, responded, and all I said was, what photo of this girl do you like best? That's all I said. I said, pick one, give me one number. Oh, let me show you the photo here. And that was this one right here. And I just let it go for a couple days till it hit about 300. And out of those 300 people, it was 277 of those were women who, put in their comment on which one they liked. And 23 of those were men. So I'm going to let you guys look at this real quick, and you guys tell me, you can pause this here in a minute, but before you go, just look really close at those, and in the comments section below, pick which number you like, you think this girl looks better. Here's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. So go ahead and pause it, make your choice, go into the description, and just give me what number you like, and then come back. Okay, so now that you did that, I'm going to go through and tell you guys what the majority of the people chose. So if I can go to, let's see if I do that. Well, I'm up here, but that doesn't look good. Let's go back to full screen here. Sorry. Okay, so out of the women, we're going to look at this. There are some of these got, tied place and all that. So we'll just start with in 7th place, that would be last place. The women chose number 2, which is right here, number 5, and number 8. And as you can see, if you're a photographer, you're going to know that those 3 are the widest lenses used here, and the women liked those the least. Okay, so in 6th place, that would be number 1, that one for 6th place over here. And I'll tell you the focal lengths here in a minute. And in 5th place, number 3 one, this one right here. And in 4th place, number 6, that's down here. And in 3rd place was number 4, that's right here. And in 2nd place, number 7. It's got a lot of people like this one right down here, number 7. And then number 1 photo that women like the most is number 9 right here. So now we'll move on over to the men before I show you the focal lengths. And we'll just start with 6th place. We got a tie of number 1, 2, and 8. So the men disliked, number 1, number 2, and number 8 the least. And in 5th place, number 7, that was right here. And in 4th place, we have number 5 over here. And in 3rd place, there's a tie here. So in 3rd place, it was number 3, number 4, and number 6 down here. And second place, most of the men loved number 5, which was a shock to me. And, that's one of the wider focal lengths, as we'll look at here in a minute. And the number 1 photo of this girl with what focal length that men like the most, and that is the same as the women, number 9. So both men and women like number 9 the most by a substantial amount, actually. So that was pretty interesting. So now we're just going to take you through and show you the focal lengths. I'm going to just move this over. And here are the focal lengths. So number 9 is right down here. This was the number 1 most liked focal length, and that is a 200 millimeter. And then number 2 was really close. That was a 230 millimeter. That's over here. And then number 4 was 135 millimeters. And then 6th was 4th place, was 100 millimeters. So if you look at this, you're going to see that almost everybody liked above, 100 millimeters basically. Most got this number 6, which is 100 millimeter, the 135 millimeter, the 200 millimeter, but nobody liked the 350 millimeter. Almost nobody liked the 19 millimeters and the wider shots here. It was interesting because for me, what I liked the most is I actually liked number 10. Now, that was the 50 millimeters. I think I like that because it just looks the most natural. I think just well-rounded. It just looks natural. But I will admit, she starts to look, I don't know if the word is like more model-like or more chiseled features once you start hitting this 100. And that was I like the look of the 50, but I would have to say if I had to choose one, it would be number 6 for me. Because once I go above 100 millimeters, it's starting to look, the chin's starting to get a little too pointy and the head's starting to get a little too wide for me. And if you look at this, I mean, look how much space there is from, let's look at this 350 millimeter. I can zoom in actually. If we look at this 350 millimeter, look how much space there is from her eyelash here all the way over to her head. I mean, you could put almost 2 finger widths apart from here. And if we just go down here, let's say to the 50 millimeter, look how narrow that is. So you can clearly see that the more you zoom in, the more you really are flattening out the subject. So she has a very wide head at 350. The winner was this right here, which is still quite wide, but it's not garishly wide, I guess. And for me, I like number 6, which is just a little less prominent. The chin's not as pointy, and I just feel that 100 millimeter looks, decent. So I don't know what you guys chose, but that's what people actually, chose. They liked the more zoomed in look, which kind of goes along with what people's been saying all the time, that 85 millimeter and above, it starts to look better. Now, does that mean you should go out and go buy a 200 millimeter lens because your clients are, out of 300 people, if those were your clients, they would have liked that one the most? I wouldn't necessarily say that because remember, this focal length might been best for this specific model. For her facial features, this was a very tight headshot, for the lighting conditions. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here that in this particular case, with this particular model and this particular lighting conditions, that 200 probably looked the best. Oh, look, I left my glasses on. I go in and out with these because I wanted to see there. So really, I would say if 85 millimeter, and when I'm looking at the 70 millimeter, it's starting to look a little more kind of like that 50 millimeter, a little more round and a little more natural like. But once you hit that 100, it's starting to look really defined, smaller chin. The head starts widening out and just getting more of that chiseled look. So for me, I would say if you have an 85 millimeter, you're going to be pretty good. I wouldn't go out and buy a 200 right away. And just remember that I showed all these different increments of focal lengths together for people to sit there and look at. But if you took a really nice portrait with a 50 millimeter, a headshot, we're not talking about like a 35 millimeter, full body shot. We're just talking about headshots here. A 50 millimeter, you show that with a really beautiful model or interesting subject with an interesting look and lighting, nobody's going to notice and say, hey, wait a second, that looks too weird. Anything below 50 headshots, I think it starts to look weird. So what do you guys think about that? I think it was interesting. I just really wanted to find out for myself using the camera that I'm using and the lenses that I'm using, which was the Zeiss 55mm and the Sony 85mm. I know now that if a client hires me to specifically do headshots, and I was going to do this anyways, but it just confirms me that I will use my 85mm for headshots. I don't do a lot of headshots. If it's a waist shot, like I did with my wife, she actually liked the 50mm better, but then when I did her and her coworkers at, a medium shot, they all liked the 85. So if I'm going to get paid to specifically do a portrait from the waist up, then I'll probably go with my 85 and leave the 55 for just run and gun type model shoots and stuff like that. But if we really target in on those medium shots, I'm using 85. So anyways, I hope you guys went down there and voted for what you like. Now you can go ahead and leave some more comments and let me know what you guys think. And we will see you tonight on Behind the Photo with Aaron J. Anderson, me, and David Osler. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.